All right, starting theme song. Theme song. Three, two, one, go. And welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. This is episode, let's call it 110.3, I guess. If you don't know what this is, this premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. So usually, here's a special thing. Usually, I do an interview, and hold on, I'm chewing gum. This is very unprofessional. Throw this out. It's right here on the side of my desk. I'm just like I'm back in school. So usually, I do an interview, and I write up a profile, put it on the website. Yeah, bada bing, bada boom. There it is. But in recent times, I somehow, even during the pandemic, my professional job, that the one that pays me money, has gotten to be just a little bit more taxing. So I have not had a chance to do a profile like I wanted to do for this most recent interview. So here I am, about 2 weeks after this thing has happened, 2 weeks after the project has released, that I need to do this interview. Well, it needs to come out. So I'm just putting it out in podcast form. Here we are. So this is Kyle Kinane. I interviewed Kyle Kinane, very funny guy, talking about his latest album, Trampoline in a Ditch, that has come out. It is what I would call a feature-length album. And it is truly just some of the best hits. I think it's his best work that he's done in the past couple of years. This is his fifth album overall. I think it's a very good one, as I have been saying before. Kyle is a great guy. I was very excited to talk to him. Now, here's an interesting fact. You'll hear the story of how later, but within this interview, because I do ask him about it. But Kyle is the reason why C Plus Comedy does not do news anymore, and why I took a hard focus on just doing interviews and doing news-themed videos instead. This website used to be kind of a ripoff of the AV Club and the Onion. They started out as an AV Club Onion type thing, but just for entertainment news. But now I don't do news, with the exception of News Time, which is, if you haven't seen it, premiere show for cpluscomedy.com on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. And 310 episodes of that right now. And but it used to be the kind of snarky thing. And then you'll hear the story of why I had to stop. So anyway, I've been talking for way too long. I've got the Marin out of me. Go ahead, check out. That seemed unnecessary. Go ahead, check out this interview with Kyle Kinane, which, by the way, I went to go edit prior to sitting down and recording this intro. And lo and behold, past Chad, who recorded this interview a couple weeks ago, had already edited it. He already edited everything, yes, in this. It's amazing. All right, check it out. I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Here we go. Hey, Kyle.
Chad, what's happening?
Nothing much. I just finished your album.
Oh, right on. Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, it was good. It felt like there was no lag throughout the entire show. It felt like you were just hitting home runs after home runs.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, it's from it's from like 5 shows combined. I didn't just sit there for like an hour and 45 minutes on one show. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. The last 4 tracks are basically their own albums. If you ever had to release something extra like that, so you really did put in exemplary work here.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I was recording over a weekend in Wisconsin, and then because I knew I had 5 or 6 shows where It's like, all right, well, the equipment's set up, so let me throw another story on each night that I haven't been able to get on tape anywhere, just to have. And then at the end, I was like, let's just put it all out. Who cares? Here you go. There's no physical album to worry about. You know, so have 100 minutes of comedy, everybody.
Had you ever told any of those stories before? Because they all felt like, especially that half hour, the one that was like 26 minutes long, it felt like a succinct story, but it still felt loose enough for it to be, be told on panel. If we ever did late night again, and things of that nature.
They were all kind of stories that had been floating around the set for a while that just never made it on the previous specials because of time or what have you. So yeah, I'd been telling them on and off. Some of them I hadn't told for a while, but I'm like, let me get this out now while get the equipment going. But yeah, so they've been around, and people may have heard them years in the past. But it was like, here's all of it.
There's a
real information dump.
there was a strange dichotomy. You told a bunch of jokes about getting sober, like not you getting sober, but just the concept of it. And then there was that one story in Canada where you just got beer drunk over the course of 3 hours. It felt like you hit all sides, and that's kind of what your jokes do. Your stand up is able to really cover pretty much the entire field when it comes to that.
Well, I mean, I don't want to just be two-dimensional. I don't want to just be a caricature, rather. Like, oh, Boozy Cow, he fell asleep in a pizza pie. Like that's fun for a little bit, but I don't want to be that. I know I'm not that, and I don't want to be that, and I don't think I like it when comedy really reflects someone's actual life and not just this sliver that they're going to show you.
It's important for you to be honest on stage, because everything you said in this album in particular just felt believable. Like sometimes you hear a story from a comedian and it just doesn't seem, it seems off, like as if they are embellishing it. But the stuff you told on this album seemed like you really went through it and you really had to mine the comedy from it.
Oh yeah, I mean, the details are always going to get a little colorful with the retelling, but you can tell when a story happened to somebody.
Yeah.
At least I think you can tell when a story, or at least maybe the lesson is if you are going to lie about a story, add specific details that would only, oh, this red car went by. Why would you make up shit about a red car? See, that's how you get them. That's how you lie.
Did you realize this? There are a couple of jokes in here that are so timely and so specific that they work, 5 years ago or maybe even 5 years into the future. Like you recognizing your white privilege and being able to believe in ghosts, but then meeting a black guy who believes in aliens is just. He's taking on a lot right now. Like that's
yeah, man. Well, and I recorded this last March too, so it was before all this shit was going down. So I was like, well, sadly, a lot of these things I would be so great if they were dated. I don't give a shit about the longevity of jokes. I would like society to move forward, but that's not happening. So here's some jokes.
Yeah, and this is your 5th album since 2010. I mean, it's like. You're able to pump this stuff out. What's your process like for writing jokes?
I mean, there's no process. I tour for a living, so if I'm coming back to a city, I want to have a new hour for that city. And if it's on a year and a half schedule, I better make sure that these clubs and these places I'm going back to within a year and a half. I have a new hour of material. I can't expect to charge people money to see the same thing. So it's some of it's writing process is just quality control in some sense. I'm like, all right, here's and also repetition. If I'm touring a lot, then I get to constantly evolve material. It's not once something's recorded, it's off the table for the most part. There's a little overlap when an album comes out and you're still on the road and a couple bits are still lingering. But yeah, I can't sit down and write jokes. You know, like I don't have that. I know some guys keep office hours. It's like, oh, I'm going to write from like 12 to 4, and I'm amazed at people that can do that. I'm more like, all right, I got to go out and do some stuff in the world, and then see if something silly happens while I'm doing it, or just, you know, take some notes from an experience and see if it turns into a story later on. But that's the process is just, I don't know, without sounding too pompous, just filtering everything that happens in life and seeing if it turns into comedy.
Yeah, if somebody was just like passing by you and heard that last part, they'd go, "Oh, that guy's a real asshole," just because of
pretty much. Yeah. What am I gonna do? Something like, oh, comedy's the spirit. I'm merely the instrument, Chad. Really, that's God. I hope you put that in asterisks or something to indicate it was sarcastic.
Well, so you talked about touring. What's it been like? Are you doing online comedy clubs right now, or are you performing during the quarantine at all?
I did a couple of spots. I didn't. I hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot by not being too participatory. I knew with the album coming out, I'm like, all right, well, I will have something coming out during all this. There's always that worry of relevance and are people going to remember? People going to even want comedy after this is all over? Or are they just going to be, you know, digging holes for wells for fresh water? You know, what's the result? What's the long-term result of all this? But the online stuff, I've watched a couple just and had fun, and then did a couple, but I haven't felt any kind of urgency to like do them. Does that make sense? I'll do here or there. I'll do something, but I've had more fun doing podcasts and kicking it with other comedians rather than trying to do material online.
Yeah, it's I don't think you have to. I don't think it's necessary to do one of the online clubs because and you know, and even releasing something right now because this is already on track to come out. Hannibal released his hour last week, and it did really well, even though it's a video show as compared to an album. But I mean, you can still do both. You can still enjoy both at home. Like I sat in my office and I listened to your album. But podcasting, I think that should, you know, especially for comedians, should skyrocket. You have a show, right? I believe the one with you. I saw a picture of like you and a wig or something like that.
Oh no, yeah, I've got a couple shows. I got the Boogie Monster with Dave Stone, and that's been going on. I think we're on like 5 years now. I'm doing that, and then Hey Girl is the one I do with Matt Bronger on Friday night. And we started that throughout all this as a way to just kind of try and be a non-bitching source of entertainment of like, man, this COVID's got everybody. Here's COVID jokes. Let's try and make it the opposite of COVID. Like, all right, we're just checking in. We've been buddies forever. And we'll just check in with each other once a week and kind of have a guest on and hang out. So that's been the purpose of that one. But yeah, I just, you know, to do an online show and it's all COVID material and everybody's doing COVID jokes and it's kind of, I just don't, I'm not drawn to it yet. I feel like it's great workout ground and everything for now and people that need a fix, especially if you're stuck at home and you're by yourself or you've been isolating. It's a great way to connect. I'm an introvert by nature, so once I'm not forced to interact with people, I'm fine with it. I've been quite okay the past 4 months.
I also saw that you were raising money for clubs. Is that what you're doing during the?
There was the online petition. I think is in. It was National Independent Venue Association, and that one was. It's just I think the last push of a petition over to Congress went in, and they're just an organization that's. I mean, they're trying to say there's some more music venues there, but even just individual comedy clubs, I don't have to, you know, say the financial impact that this is having on people. But, you know, my places of employment are nightclubs and music venues. And so there's no fallback for this. It's not like they just have a kitchen they can open up and make some money. So I'm worried about the places that I like to play, like historic venues too, not just fly-by-night spots, but like music venues that have been around. Sadly, all the allowances that everybody else is getting, even if you got a generous landlord or a boss that's like helping out or furloughing somebody so they can get unemployment or what have you, banks aren't cutting anybody any breaks. The banks that we all bailed out, they're not helping anybody. So I guess we got to go, and this whole nation is supported by GoFundMes at this point. That's your excellent economy out there, is that everything in this country is supported by a GoFundMe that's put on by somebody else that's broke.
Yeah, I don't know what happens. Like, I'm trying to avoid asking comedians the question, where does comedy go after the quarantine? But I wonder how the good clubs, like the good comedy clubs, how they bounce back, if they can only get half capacity or a quarter capacity for their audiences.
I don't know. It'd be great if landlords only took half the rent and the banks only charged half the loans. But I don't see that happening. I don't know if you do, but I don't see that. Banks don't lose money. Banks don't lose money. Casinos don't lose money. All of our money is in a casino. It's in a government-run casino.
Well, what we should do? There should be a comedy club that's a bank. A bank that's also a comedy club.
I mean, because those institutions will go great together. And also, especially, like what a trust. I don't know if you met some club owners. I'm not saying all of them. There's great clubs out there, but some club owners, I wouldn't put them in charge of $10 to go get me McDonald's, let alone. Although a lot of those I do think fell by the wayside. I think some places with scummy big business practices did get outed, which is good. Yeah, man, I don't know where it's going to go. I'm, I think punk rock DIY is going to be a way to make it survive, Music in the, late 80s and 90s where it's like, oh, venues don't want us and this and that. That's fine. We'll rent out whatever hall we can and put it on ourselves. And I think that's how comedy's doing that now also. There's a lot of venues that are like it as well, but you rent out a VFW hall or just do whatever, rent it out, charge a few bucks. Here's our show.
Yeah.
So the show is movable. The venue can be whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I guess that's how they kind of exploded onto the scene, 20 years ago. That's how UCB started and IO and the rest of them. But yeah, this could definitely be a kind of a new renaissance age for comedy clubs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of clubs I don't want to see go, for sure. But then, like I said, there are some that like, oh, you were kind of crummy as it was, and you're not going to survive this? Well, no, my heart's not breaking. My heart's not breaking for any club that was ripping off their employees and ripping off the comics. But like I said, a lot of those were kind of on their last legs anyway because word got out. Because now people could, this whole like share what you make, share, talk about bad business practices. These people aren't preying on naive comics. I don't know.
Now,
I mean, DIY. I think that's if there is a way to survive, it's going to be comics and producers acting independently. And I mean, of course, this is not a non-COVID scenario. Still limited capacity. COVID shit. I don't know, man. I have not been in a half capacity club yet. I was almost going to go this weekend. I still was like, man, I don't know about indoor spaces yet.
Yeah.
So.
Now, Kyle, you you won't remember this. You won't remember this. This happened years ago. You single-handedly changed the trajectory of this website. You changed the entire trajectory of this website.
Did I? I don't like stories that start like, you won't remember this, but 2 years ago, like, oh no.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's so
okay, good.
So I used to do news along with the interviews and like some other video stuff, but and the news was kind of like snarky, like the AV Club. You know, it's kind of like one of those snarky asshole websites. And I put up like you were touring, and I put up one of your dates, and I wrote something like really sarcastic, like Kyle Kinane is one of those touring comedians who's guess what, touring again. And then you tweeted back it's kind of a snarky way to say that, but yes, I am touring. And I felt so bad that I stopped doing news on the website, and it was for the better, because this because now I don't have an excuse. I don't have to write 200 words a day. And thank you. I just want to say thank you for doing that for me.
Oh, you know what? I think I do remember that, because I try not to buck up against stuff too much, but I think I remember something coming in that was just like, comedians tour. Kyle's a comedian, so he's touring. I'm like, all right, man, why don't you go fuck yourself then, buddy? I mean, I guess this is publicity, but it really sounds like you don't like me and you're reluctantly telling people about the tour. Like, you know what? I stand by what I did back then, Chad. I'll be honest with you. I stand by it. I'm not embarrassed of it.
All right, good. Because I think about it. Like so many times a year that I go. Yeah, I felt so bad for writing that, because like it's you and I did that to Diedrich Bader for the show American Housewife on ABC. Like both of you within like the same time span said something to me on Twitter, and I was just like, yeah, why am I doing this? I'm not having fun.
More a reflection of you not happy with your job than it had anything to do with me. But I was like, and okay. And as far as like, listen, like that's my nightly penance is laying awake thinking about things I've said and done in my past, and going like, yeah, that's who you were. That's a character tell, and you were a bad person at the time. But I'm not saying that about you. Everybody said something frustrated, and the beauty of the internet is that, oh shit, that got back to somebody, and it's happened to me too, man. So I no harm, no foul, channel for that.
I'm so glad I finally got to get that off my chest, because that was that was just sitting there. Well, you know what, Kyle, thank you so much for talking to me. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate it, and I really enjoyed the album. Seriously, one of the funniest things I've heard all year.
Oh, dude, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I think I got there's like an animated short coming out with it too. Okay. Just so there's a visual component that's coming this week. I don't know where you want to fit that in there. I just know I have my bullet points I need to mention in the interview. But yeah, coming at Meester was the animation house, and they did this. I just wanted to do like an Adult Swim type of liquid, or not Adult Swim, but more like a liquid television type thing, where I just went to an animator and said, hey, do whatever you want with this material. I'm giving you no art direction. Just don't interpret it literally. Don't animate a guy standing on stage telling jokes. And they did a great job. So.
Well, awesome. I can't wait till that comes out. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for doing the piece. Hey, we're all forgiven here in the past.
Thank you so much. That truly a weight off my chest, a weight off my shoulders.
Hey, I'm glad I could help you through trying times, Chad.
All right,
don't sweat, buddy, man. Thanks for doing it, dude.
No worries. You have a good week.
You too, man. Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.